Teacher Bestie, can we talk about something that happens every single summer? Oh, we convince ourselves that we need to completely reinvent everything. Your girl, I'm telling you, listen, new classroom, new decorations, new system, new teacher identity, baby, new hair, new all of it, right? I'm right there with you. One thing I find myself revisiting often is if this year isn't about starting over. What if this year is about taking what worked, learning from what didn't, and intentionally enhancing? Let's talk about it. Hey, you. This is Keeping It Teacherish. Listen, if this is your first time here, I'm Patrice. I'm so glad you're here. If you're a repeat offender, I'm glad you're back. Listen, we've got to talk about the things, okay? Last year taught me so much, and if you haven't seen the video, here are some things that I've learned along the way. But instead of walking into this year thinking, I need to be something different or I have to fix everything, I've really been pondering this idea that I may be asking the wrong question. Have you ever thought that? Like walking into a space and trying to figure out what do I need to fix, what's wrong, and all the things, but I'm asking a different question, right? Instead of what do I need to fix, really, what really needs my attention, right? So just hear me out here. One thing that I know for certain is that a calm classroom doesn't happen because you have cute decorations, okay? It doesn't happen because you have a calming corner. No, that's not. It happens because students know what to do, where to go, what is expected, and how we take care of each other, right? That's the way those things happen. And so this year, I'm focusing less on adding more and more. And listen, your girl, I want to redo all the decorations in my room. I'm really trying not to jump over the edge because who has time or the money, okay? But I'm really pushing to focus on making my system stronger, not just a Pinterest worthy classroom. What I mean by that is I want smoother transitions. How can I have clearer routines, right? How can I teach this better? And more student independence. How can I be more intentional about creating space where that happens faster than it did the previous year? Does that make sense? Not necessarily rushing the kids along, but really trying to focus on how do I do this piece better. So I'm enhancing student ownership. That's one of the main things that I'm doing. So I want my students to feel like this classroom belongs to them as well, right? And so that doesn't just mean that they have artwork on the wall, because that's cute, but that's not really it. But it means moving beyond me being the person who controls every single thing. So how am I doing this? Well, number one, I'm starting those classroom jobs much earlier than I did last year. I'm also encouraging student voice. Like I want them to learn to use their voices and to be comfortable hearing their own voice in times of disagreement and conflict, in times when they agree, all those things, right? I don't want students to just follow the directions. I really want my students to understand why we're doing what we're doing, why executive function matters. How much better do you work when you know where your papers are, right? Like the little intangible things that we're teaching them routines and we're teaching them all the things, but are they really owning it or are they just following directions? As I was thinking through this video, one other thing, I literally herald myself as a communicator, right? Coming out of years of ministry, years of teaching, years of banking, like all the things, all the jobs that I have had have literally allowed me to perfect communicating. But I do believe that another thing that needs enhancing is communication. So I think it's very important that as a teacher, we really focus on intentional communication. And that is not saying that every single moment you're emailing a teacher or emailing a parent or any of the things, but I really do believe that the trust with our families is not built when there's a problem. Okay. And for many of us, that's the first time our families are hearing from us. Hearing our voices or receiving an individualized email is when there's a problem. But trust really is built before there's a problem. So I'm going to do a video on parent communication so that we can work together in having better partnership with our parents. But I really want my families to know who I am, what our classroom values, the way that we communicate even on our classroom app, so that they feel like they are a part of what we're doing. Granted, I know that there's already a lot that we're doing as teachers, but also as a parent, there are things that make me appreciate what's being done in the classroom when I am aware of what's being done in the classroom. All right, my other thing that I am enhancing on is your girl, I'm protecting my teacher energy. Okay, so for those of you who are new here, I am actually, contrary to popular belief, I'm actually an introvert. Okay, I just show up extrovertedly. I don't know how it happens. I don't know why, but my teacher energy, this is gonna be my biggest enhancement. I'm protecting it. It's gonna be my biggest enhancement. I want to be a great teacher, but I also want to be a whole person, right? And so that means setting better boundaries, right? Anything that impedes on my ability to show up well and first in my classroom, then that's a non-negotiable for me. And if you haven't already, our last video talked about non-negotiables. You better check that out, okay? Another thing that I'm doing as far as protecting my teacher energy is simplifying where I can, right? Really making those systems and routines stronger where I need to, but also pulling me out and putting students there. and really just simplifying life, because many of us don't realize, but a lot of our classroom literally revolves around us, and that is why our energy is so low, because we are performing, we are constantly on literally 7 to 8 hours a day, right? And then lastly, in protecting my energy, I'm really just focusing on what matters most. Like, yes, I want to teach every single standard. Yes, I want you to make 100 on every single grade and all the things, but the reality is, I also want you to grow in confidence. I also want you to feel empowered when you leave this room. I also want you to leave this room stronger than when you came, right? And that's just the reality of what it is. And so I have to protect my teacher energy to be able to show up well, to be able to engage with my students on that level. And honestly, this is really where my rest, renew, and reset guide came from. It's not about adding another thing to your teacher plate or your to-do list. I'm a to-do lister. It's all about helping you pause and decide what actually deserves your energy, right? What actually deserves more attention before the year begins, and helping us to refine and clarify the vision for our classroom and really the goal that we have for our students. So last thing before I go, I want to know, what is one thing that you're enhancing this school year? So this is not something you can buy. This is not a new system, right? But what are you enhancing? What's something that can be done better, or something that if I tweak it just a bit, it really can be amazing? What's one thing that you're enhancing this school year? Tell me in the comments. I want to know, because I think we can learn from each other. I think there are some things that you may share that I haven't thought of, or that another teacher bestie will share that we just haven't thought about. And so go ahead and leave that in the comment. For the rest of you, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. What are we doing, right? I mean, I feel like we already know. Just subscribe already. We're glad you're here. I hope you enjoyed yourself as much as I've enjoyed you. Listen, if you are liking this content, for real though, let's subscribe, like the video, share with another teacher bestie, and stay tuned for the next video, because your girl got much more to talk about. Bye, guys.